Do you often find yourself rushing to the bathroom, feeling that sudden urgent need to go, even when you just went a little while ago? Perhaps those nighttime trips have become a regular disruption, stealing precious hours of sleep and leaving you feeling drained in the morning. It's a familiar scenario for many of us as we get a bit older, isn't it? That nagging feeling that your bladder isn't quite as reliable as it once was can really take a toll on your quality of life, making you think twice about long car journeys or even just enjoying a movie without interruption. You might be surprised to learn that a big part of what's happening isn't just about getting older. It's about what you're putting into your body. There's a secret connection between some everyday foods you might be enjoying regularly and those frustrating urinary symptoms. It's a connection that your urologist wishes everyone over 60 knew about. In this video, we're going to uncover 5 specific foods that, surprisingly, can be making your bladder issues much worse, keeping you up at night, and causing discomfort during the day. We'll explore why they're problematic and what simple swaps you can make to start feeling more in control, more comfortable, and get that good night's sleep you deserve. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you. Now, let's dive right into the first category of foods that can be surprisingly tough on your urinary system. Especially as we get a little older, those highly processed, salty snacks and cured meats that many of us enjoy. Think about the crisps, pretzels, processed cheeses, bacon, sausages, and even some of those convenient frozen dinners. These items are often loaded with sodium, and while a little salt is essential, the sheer amount in these foods can be a real troublemaker for your bladder. Here's why: when you consume a lot of sodium, your body tries to balance the fluid levels. To do this, your kidneys work harder, and your body retains more water. This increased fluid retention can mean your bladder fills up more quickly, leading to more frequent urges to urinate. It's like constantly topping up a glass that's already full. But it's not just about fluid balance. High sodium intake can also lead to a mild dehydration if you're not also increasing your water intake. When your body is even slightly dehydrated, your urine becomes more concentrated. Concentrated urine is more irritating to the lining of the bladder, which can trigger feelings of urgency and even discomfort. Imagine your bladder as a delicate balloon. When it's constantly exposed to highly concentrated, irritating liquid, it's more likely to signal time to go more often. Consider a typical afternoon snack for many people a bag of crisps. While they might seem harmless, a single serving can contain a significant portion of your daily recommended sodium limit. If you pair that with a processed sandwich for lunch, perhaps with some cured ham or salami, and then a ready-made meal for dinner, the sodium quickly adds up throughout the day. By the evening, your bladder has been working overtime to handle all that extra fluid and irritation. This often translates directly into those disruptive nighttime trips to the bathroom. It's not just about the volume of urine. It's about the irritation factor that makes your bladder feel like it needs to empty more urgently, even when it's not completely full. So, what's the actionable step here? It's about becoming a label reader. Take a moment to look at the sodium content on your packaged foods. Aim for lower sodium options whenever possible. Instead of processed snacks, reach for fresh vegetables like carrot sticks or cucumber slices with a low sodium dip, or a handful of unsalted nuts. For meals, focus on cooking more at home, using fresh ingredients where you can control the salt content. Opt for lean protein sources like grilled chicken or fish seasoned with herbs and chuntas instead of salt. Think about roasting your own potatoes or sweet potatoes instead of relying on heavily salted frozen fries. These small shifts away from processed, high-sodium foods can make a surprising difference in how often your bladder calls for attention, giving you back a little more freedom and a lot more peace of mind, especially when you're out and about or trying to get some rest. Now that we've talked about the sneaky impact of salty, processed foods, let's move on to another culprit that might be lurking in your daily routine, silently contributing to your bladder woes. Moving on from those sneaky salty snacks, Let's talk about something else that many of us consume regularly, often without a second thought: artificial sweeteners and heavily sugared drinks. This category includes everything from diet sodas and certain zero-calorie drinks, to some flavored yogurts and even seemingly healthy fruit juices that have a lot of added sugar. While these might seem like a good way to enjoy sweetness without the calories. For your bladder, they can be anything but benign. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, saccharin, and sucralose, found in countless diet products, have been identified as potential bladder irritants for a significant number of people, especially as we age. It's not fully understood why, but it's believed these synthetic compounds can provoke the bladder lining, leading to increased urgency, frequency, and even discomfort, mimicking symptoms of an overactive bladder. Your bladder, which is a muscular pouch, responds to these irritants by contracting more often and more forcefully, giving you that sudden, strong urge to go. It's a bit like having an allergy to pollen. Your body just reacts, even if it's not a harmful substance in the traditional sense. Think about someone who regularly sips on Diet Cola throughout the day, believing they are making a healthier choice. By the end of the day, their bladder has been consistently exposed to these artificial irritants, leading to a cascade of bathroom trips. The same goes for highly sweetened fruit juices, which, despite having fruit in the name, can be loaded with added sugars like high fructose corn syrup. These sugars can also irritate the bladder in a similar way, contributing to inflammation and heightened sensitivity. The advice here is simple but powerful. Try to limit or eliminate artificial sweeteners and excessive added sugars from your diet. Instead of a diet soda, reach for plain water, perhaps infused with slices of cucumber, lemon, or a few berries for a natural flavor boost. If you enjoy sparkling drinks, try plain sparkling water with a splash of 100% natural fruit juice in moderation, or a slice of citrus. When it comes to fruit juices, opt for whole fruits instead, which provide beneficial fiber and natural sugars in a more balanced way. A whole orange, for example, is far better for your bladder and overall health than a glass of orange juice with added sugar. For your morning yogurt, choose plain, unsweetened varieties and add your own fresh fruit or a drizzle of honey if you need a touch of sweetness. Making these conscious choices to reduce your intake of artificial sweeteners and high amounts of added sugars can significantly calm your bladder, leading to fewer unexpected urges and a greater sense of comfort throughout your day and night. Moving on from sweeteners, let's tackle a category of foods that often add excitement and flavor to our meals, but can be quite challenging for an aging bladder: spicy foods. We're talking about everything from hot peppers like jalapenos and habaneros to chili powders, spicy sauces, and dishes that really pack a fiery punch. While many people enjoy the kick these foods provide, the active compound in most spicy foods, capsaicin, is a known irritant to mucous membranes, and that includes the delicate lining of your bladder. When you consume spicy foods, capsaicin isn't fully broken down in your digestive system, and it eventually makes its way into your urine. As this capsaicin-containing urine passes through your bladder and urethra, it can directly irritate these sensitive tissues. This irritation can manifest as a burning sensation, increased urgency, and a heightened frequency of urination. It's almost like your bladder is shouting for relief, even if it's not completely full. Imagine someone who loves their daily dose of hot sauce on eggs in the morning, a spicy curry for lunch, and then a chili for dinner. By the end of the day, their bladder has been on a continuous cycle of irritation, leading to constant trips to the bathroom and a general feeling of discomfort. This can be particularly problematic at night, disrupting sleep and making it harder to feel rested. For people who already experience sensitive bladder issues, or conditions like interstitial cystitis, spicy foods can be especially aggravating, sometimes even leading to pain. So, what's the practical advice here? If you notice that your bladder symptoms worsen after you've had a particularly spicy meal, it's a good idea to consider reducing or even temporarily eliminating very spicy foods from your diet. You don't necessarily have to give up flavor altogether, instead of relying on heat for taste. Explore other spices and herbs that add depth without the burn. Think about using garlic, onion powder, paprika sweet, not hot, cumin, coriander, turmeric, oregano, and basil. These can all create incredibly flavorful dishes without irritating your bladder. You might find that your taste buds adjust, and you discover a whole new world of culinary delights that are much kinder to your urinary system. This small adjustment can lead to a significant improvement in bladder comfort and control, letting you enjoy your day without constantly worrying about where the nearest restroom is. Next, we'll delve into a beverage that many of us rely on daily, but which can surprisingly contribute to bladder issues. Continuing our journey through foods and drinks that might be silently affecting your bladder, let's turn our attention to something almost universally loved: caffeine. Whether it's in your morning coffee, your afternoon tea, or those occasional energy drinks, caffeine is a powerful substance. While it gives us that welcome boost of alertness, it's also a well-known diuretic, which means it increases urine production. For your bladder, especially as you age, this can be a double-edged sword. Firstly, as a diuretic, caffeine directly tells your kidneys to produce more urine. This means your bladder fills up faster than it normally would, leading to more frequent trips to the bathroom. If you're someone who sips coffee all morning or enjoys several cups of strong tea throughout the day, your bladder is constantly being stimulated to empty, creating that persistent feeling of urgency. This is particularly noticeable if you're trying to reduce nighttime awakenings. That late afternoon coffee could be directly responsible for interrupting your sleep. Beyond just increasing urine volume, caffeine can also act as a direct bladder irritant. For many individuals, especially those with sensitive bladders or existing conditions like overactive bladder, caffeine can stimulate the bladder muscle itself, causing it to contract more frequently and often more forcefully. This leads to that sudden, intense urge to urinate. Even when your bladder isn't particularly full, it's like having a twitchy muscle that's constantly being told to go, go, go. This irritation can be quite uncomfortable and disruptive, making it difficult to relax or focus on other activities. Think about someone who starts their day with a large mug of strong coffee, follows it with a couple more throughout the morning, and perhaps an iced tea in the afternoon. Their bladder is essentially being overstimulated and overworked for hours on end. By the time evening rolls around, the bladder is exhausted and hypersensitive, setting the stage for those frustrating nighttime bathroom visits. So, what's the actionable advice for caffeine? It's not necessarily about cutting it out entirely, unless you find that even small amounts are highly problematic for you. The key is moderation and timing. Consider gradually reducing your daily caffeine intake. If you drink 3 cups of coffee, try switching to 2, or replacing one with a decaffeinated version or herbal tea. Pay attention to how your body responds. You might find that simply reducing the strength of your brew or opting for decaf after a certain time of day, say, after lunchtime, can make a significant difference to your nighttime sleep and daytime comfort. Explore alternatives like herbal teas, which come in a vast array of flavors and can be a soothing, non-irritating alternative to caffeinated beverages. Warm water with a slice of lemon or a few berries can also be a refreshing choice. By managing your caffeine intake wisely, you can give your bladder a much-needed break from constant stimulation, leading to fewer urgent calls and a greater sense of bladder control. And finally, let's explore our last food category, which often hides in plain sight, impacting our bladder health. Bladder. Our fifth and final category of foods to approach with caution, particularly as we get older, are highly acidic foods, especially certain citrus fruits and tomatoes. Now, it's important to be clear: citrus fruits like oranges, grapefruits, lemons, and limes are packed with vitamin C and beneficial antioxidants, and tomatoes are wonderful sources of lycopene. We're not saying to avoid them entirely if they don't bother you. However, For a significant number of people over 60, and particularly those with sensitive bladders or conditions like interstitial cystitis or overactive bladder, the high acidity in these foods can act as a direct irritant to the bladder lining. When you consume these acidic foods, the acids eventually make their way into your urine. As this acidic urine sits in your bladder, it can irritate the delicate bladder wall, causing it to become inflamed and hypersensitive. This irritation can trigger frequent urges to urinate, a sensation of urgency, and sometimes even discomfort or a burning feeling during urination. It's similar to how spicy foods irritate. But instead of capsaicin, it's the high acid content doing the irritating work. Think about someone who enjoys a large glass of orange juice every morning, adds tomatoes generously to their salads and pasta sauces throughout the day, and perhaps finishes with a grapefruit for dessert. While each item on its own might seem harmless, the cumulative effect of constant exposure to highly acidic urine can keep the bladder in a state of agitation. This can lead to a cycle of discomfort, frequent bathroom trips, and disturbed sleep. It's not just about fresh fruits either. Highly acidic processed foods like tomato paste, ketchup, certain vinegars, and even some processed fruit-flavored snacks can contribute to the problem. The key here is to listen to your body. If you notice that your bladder symptoms flare up after you've consumed a lot of citrus or tomato products, it might be worth exploring whether they are indeed a trigger for you. So, what's the actionable advice instead of completely eliminating these otherwise healthy foods? Consider moderating your intake. If you love orange juice, try diluting it with water, or switch to a less acidic fruit like a banana or pear for your morning vitamin boost. When cooking with tomatoes, perhaps try reducing the amount, or opt for less acidic vegetables as a base for your sauces. For instance, instead of a heavy tomato-based pasta sauce, you could explore cream-based sauces, or vegetable-based purees using carrots or zucchini. You could also try cooking tomatoes for longer, as sometimes the cooking process can alter the acidity slightly for some individuals. The goal isn't deprivation, but rather mindful consumption. You might experiment by temporarily removing these highly acidic foods from your diet for a week or two, and then slowly reintroducing them one at a time, in small quantities, to see if your symptoms worsen. This personalized approach can help you identify your specific triggers without sacrificing all the beneficial nutrients these foods offer. Remember, making small, consistent changes to what you eat can have a profound impact on your bladder health and your overall comfort, giving you more freedom and better sleep. These 5 food categories: highly processed salty snacks and cured meats, artificial sweeteners and sugary drinks, spicy foods, excessive caffeine, and highly acidic foods like certain citrus and tomatoes, are often silent culprits behind many bladder issues experienced after 60. By understanding how they affect your urinary system, and by making thoughtful adjustments to your diet, you can significantly reduce urgency, frequency, and discomfort. It's truly empowering to know that something as simple as changing what's on your plate can lead to such a dramatic improvement in your daily life. Imagine not having to plan your outings around restroom stops, or waking up fewer times in the night, feeling more rested and energized. These aren't just minor inconveniences. They affect your quality of life, your sleep, and your confidence. But the good news is, you have the power to change it. Small changes, like swapping a handful of crisps for some cucumber slices, choosing plain water over a diet soda, opting for milder spices, moderating your caffeine, or being mindful of acidic foods, can accumulate into significant benefits. It's not about perfection, but about progress. Be kind to yourself as you make these shifts. Every step, no matter how small, is a step towards greater comfort and control. We hope this conversation has given you some valuable insights and practical steps you can take starting today. Your experience matters, and we'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed any specific foods that trigger your bladder? Or perhaps you found some wonderful alternatives that have made a real difference for you? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your wisdom could help someone else who's struggling. If you found this video helpful and want to see more content focused on living your best, most comfortable life after 60, please give this video a thumbs up. It truly helps our channel grow and reach more people who can benefit from this information. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you won't miss out on our future videos, packed with practical advice and encouraging messages, tailored just for you. Thank you for joining us today. Keep learning, keep growing, and live your best life at every age.